It's Necey Dixon.
Oh, mic check. 1, 2. Hey, y'all. It's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. Clack, clack. Today, I got my bottle of water. And we're going to talk about Belle Collective. We're going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And we're going to talk about Married to Medicine, okay? Married to Medicine. So, I was talking to a few of y'all on Twitter, and I know y'all wanted my thoughts on Ready to Love. I watched Ready to Love like right before I hopped up here. But I'm gonna talk about Ready to Love whenever I do Ladies First panel. I value like an extra hour of note taking that I could be used doing something else right now. So yeah, that's what's going on. Hey Maya. Hey Kenya. She says, hope you're staying dry. We didn't get rain as bad in Austin as in Dallas. Girl, girl. Yes, it was raining so hard. It was like 8 inches in 3 hours yesterday or something like that. We was overdue for some rain, but the rain that came through, I'm telling you, was a bit much. Hey, Ayana, how you doing? Okay, so y'all, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And let me say this because I'm 2 minutes in. For those of you who are new here, I like to talk to my friends at the beginning whenever I get ready to go live. I like to say hello, how you doing? I like to be courteous. I like to remind y'all to like the video. I like to tell y'all what I've been up to since I ain't talked to y'all in 4 days. And then I get into the live, right? So if you're watching this on replay and you came here purely for the review because we ain't friends yet, like the video, and then go ahead and fast forward to the review. I had to say that because last week it was somebody brand new and they talking about can we get to the review? Can we get to the review? And I'm just like, girl, you're watching this on replay. You ain't heard of fast forward? Bye. Okay. Hey Andrea. Andrea says, hey Necey, I seen that you asked if Patrick and old girl was still together. Miriam. Miriam or Safari was still together on Candy Speak on It. And yes, they still are. I love you. Thank you so much. I was wondering. I definitely was in on Candy Speak on It. Definitely spent some time at Heavenly's live. Our girl Bonnie went live with Heavenly, so that was good to see. Another thing going on with Ladies First panel. That's why I'm wearing my purple today. Purple always reminds me of Ladies First panel, but our girl Jamie got engaged over the weekend, so y'all go ahead and tell her congrats over there. I'm super excited, okay? Super excited. But y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the review. I'm definitely not about to skip Belle Collective because Belle Collective has been giving. And according to Carlos King, he says that the reunion that he just finished filming was everything. It was everything. So I think we're going to be in for a good reunion, okay? And I definitely, you know what? I told y'all I had mixed feelings about Akisha. I told y'all I thought Akisha was doing the most. Still think Akisha does the most. But I definitely think Akisha is who the cast needed. Y'all tell me in the comments what y'all think about Akisha and what she brings to the show. As much as the lady irritated me to begin with, she definitely says some things that I be thinking. And you can tell that she's actually about her business and she calls out the fakeade and I don't want to say fraudulent since that's a trigger word among this group, fraud. But she calls out the bullshit. Okay. So now let's get to it. So Belle Collective starts out. We see Akisha and Leticia, and they are meeting up on Ferris Street. Y'all, obviously, last episode, they made amends or came to some type of understanding after Akisha was complaining about her plate being dirty at the brunch, okay? While her plate was dirty, I don't do no dirty plates either. I thought that Akisha was doing the most. It's something about Akisha that sometimes feels very like performatory, very much like I want y'all to know who I am. I want y'all to think that I'm this, that, and the third. And here's the thing. There are people who are like that who seek approval. And then there are also people who are like trained to be like that. And because Akisha has a family history that's so rich in Jackson, Mississippi, I think that Akisha was just trained to be very braggadocious, very like, I am Akisha, whatever her last name is. These are my people. And I think she was trained to be that way. So I think that that's genuinely who she is, unfortunately. Okay. So they do this whole Fair Street tour. Akisha is showing her everything like she's never seen Fair Street before. And one of the parts that took me out was Akisha was like, yes, this building right here, this is Peach, such and such. And Leticia tried to beat her to the punch and was like, yes, President Obama came and ate here. And Akisha had to correct her. Well, actually, he was a senator when he ate there. So because Akisha was like, oh, well, you think you know, but I know this. Leticia then doubled down with, oh, Miss Dorothy told me about him. Do you know Miss Dorothy? And Akisha was like, no, I don't know Miss Dorothy, but Miss Dorothy probably know my family. And when she said that, I was like, y'all are too damn much. Okay. So at the end of the tour, they start talking about business plans. And Leticia is saying, well, I have to get with Marie to see how we want to move. And oh, that's an interesting fun fact, Cameron. Cameron said Akisha was interviewed to be on Real Housewives of New Jersey, but decided to do Belle Collective instead. Probably because she wanted to go home, because I don't know why she would have done that. But anyway, Akisha made it clear to Leticia that she has no plans of doing business with her and Marie. She's basically saying, I barely want to know if I want to do business with you, Leticia. So let's figure out our relationship first. And then maybe we can bring Marie on later. And I think she handled that the right way. But one of the things that was also funny was, and this is what I mean whenever I tell y'all, when I tell y'all that Akisha is what the show needed, this is what I mean. Akisha said, Tisha has a lot of passion behind Fair Street, but I'm going to need a whole lot more than passion. We're going to need something in those pockets too. And when she said that, I busted out laughing because I'm like, you know what? I might like Akisha. I might find myself really liking Akisha. I'm not gonna lie. It's something about her that I told y'all was an acquired taste, but she ain't never lied. The reason why Fair Street did not get off the ground last season is because nobody was coughing up coin. Okay, nobody. So let's see where they get. If anybody is gonna flip Fair Street, it's gonna be Akisha. So next, y'all, we see Leticia and Marie. Marie invites herself over to Leticia's office where, you know, I will say this. As much as we don't know how we feel about Marie looked the best that she done looked in this scene. She had a cute little pink two-piece. She had the blonde 27-piece doobie wig on. She looked good, okay? So when she sat down and she talked to her friend Leticia, she says, you know, I admire you. You know, I respect what you do in your brunches, but I think it's best that I no longer attend your brunches. Okay. Now, y'all, I don't know why Leticia felt some type of way, because high key, if Marie would have came to me and said that she was no longer attending brunches, I would have said, all right, cool. I would have said, whoo, she disinvited herself before I had to tell her. Okay. She told me before I had to tell her and have my friend feeling some type of way towards me. Thank you, Angie. I don't know why Leticia, you know what? I do know why. I was just about to tell y'all. I don't know why Leticia tries to like force things or like force a narrative. Leticia wants to force Marie, in my opinion, to be the friend that she needs her to be. Leticia tried to force the reconciliation between Latrice and Marie, which Marie didn't want no parts in. So I'm like, Leticia, why do you keep doing this? But the reason why I'm like, you know what? We know why. Is because we're seeing her do the same thing with her husband. And we're going to talk about this once we get further on in this show. But we are seeing Leticia do the same thing with her husband. Let's dig a little bit deeper, okay? Let's find out the psychology. Leticia, why are you like this? So anyway, back to Marie and Leticia. Marie ends up saying that she believes that it takes two to ruin an event. And Leticia says, well, no, it only takes one person, and that was you, because Latrice wanted to talk to you. And Marie says, well, Latrice was coming up to me with the lies, and I don't want to talk to her if she's coming up to me with the lies. The whole time, y'all, I thought that Marie was tripping. I didn't think that Latrice was lying. I definitely thought somebody came up with the rumors. I thought that Latrice was sincerely coming up to her to apologize. But this episode, more than anything, told me, like, you know what? Marie had a point. Didn't nobody want to listen to her. Marie might have done the most at the brunch, but Marie absolutely had a point whenever she said that Latrice was involved in more than what she wanted to say. And we're gonna get more into that too. Like, Latrice looked so nervous. Latrice looked like she was in the principal's office, in my opinion, when Essie came down to her shop. Now, Latrice can read, but she looked like she was shaking her boots when she was doing it. Anyway, yeah, Marie still feels like Latrice is lying. And in my opinion, I think she should have just left her uninvited. So now, y'all, let's get into Glenn. We see Glenn paying a visit to Leticia's mom. And my notes for this says that Glenn attempts to manipulate Tisha's mom. Because that's exactly what the hell he did. He shows up to her mama's house after saying, you know, she's known me since I was 17 years old. Her mom is so great. She's so unbiased. Which is great when you're the one who continues to fuck your relationship up, right? And he's sitting there telling Leticia's mama that although he's the one who's going through all these changes and he's making all these adjustments, he's gonna need her support too. He's gonna need her to make moves to make their relationship better too. Y'all, come on. Just like Tisha's mama said, yes, it takes two people in a relationship, right? But you're not about to cheat on me, have an outside baby, then pop up to my mama house talking about, well, I haven't done that much stuff, but I need her to do this for me. The fuck? Y'all, this man is insane. The audacity. And the fact that he could go to Leticia's mama after doing her and their son, let's be real, the way that he has, and for Leticia's mama to sit there and chill, lets me know that the reason why he is the way he is because they have allowed him to be that way. And this is like one of the toxic cycles that I always talk about on these reality TV shows. Is learned behaviors, learned exceptions, especially when it comes to men. And you'll see this a lot with mothers. I usually talk about this in a mother-son relationship type of thing. Like, for example, if y'all watch my Love and Marriage Huntsville reviews, I always talk to y'all about how mothers will make excuses for their ain't shit sons because the man that they accepted was much worse than the son that they birthed. Meaning, although Martell cheated on Mel, Martell's mom isn't going to think any less of him, number one, because that's her son, but number two, because the offenses that he's done to his wife, she ended up accepting that and much more in her relationship. So she expects the next woman to do the same, right? So in this situation, I feel like Leticia's mom has essentially taught her, and a lot of people do this, that having a piece of man is better than having no man. Your daughter has been with this man since she was 17 years old, and she been with him 20 years. He's been cheating on her for 20 years, and you keep this man so close that he feels like a son. And that lets me know that the things that you were willing to accept in your life are probably equal or worse than what you encourage your daughter to accept for the sake of her having a man. And that toxicity has to stop. Like, literally, that to me is a generational curse. That is a generational curse. Women who get into toxic relationships, or women who get with men who really not shit. You know how they always say you end up dating your dad? Well, that's true. Or you always end up dating the man who your mom accepted. So I hate to see it. But anyway, he ends up saying, and he has the audacity to tell her mom that, you know, cheating was a misdemeanor, but then the mom says that the child was a felony. And I'm just like, Y'all can sit up here and talk all y'all want to, like Tisha is some changed woman. And that's something I would like to know. Maybe we get Tisha on Ooh Ladies First panel. But Tisha, I would like to know, like, why do we keep hearing this season that you're such a changed person? And the only difference I'm seeing is that you got an office. I'm only seeing that you got an office in the second season and better weaves. No shade. Okay. You look cute, sis. But why are y'all trying to correlate these new things with what she's no longer willing to accept in the 50 or 60th time of forgiveness for her husband? Make it make sense. But I'm gonna get off of that. So because we're gonna get back to it in a second. So we move on from Glenn and Tisha's mama to Akisha and her husband Willie. So they're having lunch or whatever, breakfast at a coffee shop. And Akisha ends up telling her husband, Willie, ooh, there y'all go. And the office is not on Fair Street. I can't. So anyway, Akisha ends up telling her husband, Willie, that I met a young lady. Her name's Sophia, but she goes by So Gucci. And he's like, that's so lame. And they're real bougie, right? But anyway, she ends up telling him that So Gucci is gonna take them to go look at homes because they're probably gonna be in Mississippi for longer than what they thought they would. She's thinking at least 2 years in Mississippi. So they end up going to the house, right? When they end up going to the house, it's a huge house. And the husband is taken aback because he's like, okay, this amount of house is feeling very permanent for a place that we're not supposed to be for that long. And Akisha goes, well, we can't move from 11,000 square feet to just 2,000 square feet. And y'all, this is what I'm talking about. I think Akisha has been raised this way. Just based off of her talking about her family all the time. A lot of people are raised this way. You'll notice this. And it's a real Southern thing. I mean, I'm sure they do it in other places too. I'm sure every culture has this. But this is that Southern Belle stuff that I'm talking about. We didn't need to know that you had an 11,000 square foot home before. And it's almost as if you shitting on what regular people got. You can't go from 11,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet. And I'm just like, girl, it's just the way she is. That's just the way she is. Okay. I think that the husband was absolutely right. If that's not your permanent home, why would you buy a home that's going to be completely equal to your home? Why would you buy a second home that's going to be equal to your other home? Don't know what y'all money is looking like, but regardless, I just don't think that would be a smart thing to do. Okay, so we're going to move on from them. Right? So we're going to move on to them. Prosperity said, I don't like Akisha at all. I feel like she's an acquired taste. And Angie, thank you for this comment because Angie, I was wondering for the longest, how many damn kids do Akisha got? Girl, Akisha, you only have 4 members of your family. How much house do you need for 2 small children? And honestly, y'all, I just assumed that her kids was at least college age. I don't know how old Akisha is, but it's something about Akisha that's just giving very much mature. Akisha's giving very mature, very mature, very mature. It's not given that this was her first marriage 10 years ago. It's given that this is probably her second marriage. And both of the kids that she has are probably from previous marriages. I'm not saying that that's the case, but that's just when I look at her and I see how mature she looks, I'm like, that probably is more likely. So I'm just shocked every time I hear she says that she has these kids. And then Willie said there's no kids playing in the street. So I'm like, damn, y'all got kids that are the age that they should be playing outside in the street. I don't know. But also, let me give it pause because Akisha might have just had her kids late. Because you remember 2 episodes ago, she said that she had issues carrying a child. So she probably is a little bit older, and that's probably why her kids are young. So y'all, let's move on from this scene. Right. Hey, Harold. So let's move on from this scene to we see Essie and Latrice. This is what I mean when I told y'all at the beginning of the review that Latrice was giving very much like principal's office vibes. So Essie shows up to Latrice's shop. And, they being shady. Hey, I was not expecting you. Oh, we're in the hair business as well. Oh, but it's not Goddess Links. No, it's not. It's Zuri. Let's not get it twisted. We both had cosmetology license before. We are in the business. And she's like, okay, but we're on Dogwood. You're in the hood. Okay, but you're in Dogwood on the corner. I'm in Worldwide. It was cute, right? But y'all, this is the thing. The whole time that, like, after they had that little cute banter, Latrice looked nervous to me. She kept like fidgeting with her mouth like this. She kept rearranging her posture. And Essie really came to her kind of like an elder. And I think that's why she felt nervous. Essie basically said, we know that you didn't go and spread the rumor, okay? You know that people had you had your hands on the knife, but you didn't do the killing or something like that. That's the metaphor that she used. And Latrice ends up admitting to it. And she was like, yes. But what's the big deal? What's the big deal about it being a rumor? And this is where I was like, damn, I really didn't believe Marie this entire time. I really thought that Marie was tripping for no reason. She was hating on Latrice because Latrice was pretty and young and successful. And I said all that in my last review. I still think Marie thinks those things. But Marie was right. Latrice really did go and outsource a rumor. So Essie then says, well, why would you do that? And Latrice tells her, Marie means nothing to me, which is why I got the information on her and no information on Leticia. And she said, you gonna say another Black woman don't mean nothing to you? And she says, I didn't say I didn't say she wasn't worth anything. I said she didn't mean anything to me. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So Essie starts talking about Marie having lupus and how this whole situation has, I guess, aided in her health being worse, right? As soon as Essie brought up Marie's health, that's whenever Latrice then became apologetic and said that, I would love to put it all behind me. We're all Black, successful women. I would love for us to just hug it out, blah, 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 right? So they agreed that that's going to be the next best thing. Essie ends up leaving. I think that Essie is a really good friend. Friend. I think that Essie is a really good friend for going to go talk to Latrice. Marie made herself look crazy every single time she was in a room with Latrice, which is why I didn't understand. I didn't believe her. I think Essie handled it the right way. I'm glad that Latrice admitted to what was going on. It'll be interesting to see Latrice and Marie face off. So lastly, y'all, we get to Glenn and Leticia. And y'all, I'm sitting here about to laugh my ass off. We get to Glenn and Leticia. And the reason why I'm already laughing is because she said, you can't sit here and sing me sweet nothings. It is a privilege to be with me. You're like, girl, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, but Leticia practiced that in the damn shower. You know when you be in the shower and you be practicing arguments and shit like that. Leticia did that, okay? Leticia practiced her argument in the shower. She practiced her 2 lines. And she came to the dinner on that bullshit, okay? And I watched this twice. Because the first time I watched it, I really wasn't paying attention to what Glenn was saying. I was only paying attention to what Leticia was saying. So whenever Leticia said, it's a privilege to be with me, I was like, yes, girl, like you better tell him, right? Then I watched it again and I listened to the context of the conversation and I was like, girl, get the fuck. Get the fuck right now. I need you to get the fuck right now because she is full of it, okay? So let's get to it. Glenn and Leticia meet up, and Leticia is sitting there trying to look like she's on her FNF. She knows she not. She come there looking cute. She said, "This is my get back outfit. You like it?" So they sit there, and Glenn says, "Well, I've been to counseling. It's been 3 sessions of counseling, and you ain't showed up. It's only been me." And she's like, you know, you gotta put your hands like this to make Glenn think you really on your business. You're right. I haven't been to the sessions. You're right. How can I know that you're gonna do the things you need to do to change all this other stuff? And he's sitting there, Leticia, listen to me. You and little David is my world. Y'all's my world, man. Y'all's my life. I need you back. She melts immediately. Man, I'm a good dude. Minus the texting. Minus the affair. What? Minus the texting. Minus the affair. Minus you slipping your peen in another vagina? What are you talking about? Like, with that type of logic, every dude out here that is trifling AF is probably a good dude at the core. And this is what I'm talking about. Whenever I talk about generational shit, somebody taught him that. Somebody taught him that regardless of the offenses that he can make in a relationship, he's still a good dude at the end of the day because he pays his bills and he's involved with his family. I hate that shit. I need y'all to stop teaching y'all's kids that. Stop teaching y'all's kids that as long as they take care of financial responsibility and they're present in the relationship, that they can still go lay their head in whoever bed they want to lay it in. Hate that shit. And I wish that Tisha would have listened to the words that was coming out of his mouth instead of just like exactly what she wanted to say. Because in my mind, as soon as he said, "I'm a good guy minus this, that, and the third," it's like you're making excuses for the stuff that you did. And that's the whole reason why they're there. But so Leticia knows that she wants to take this man back. And Leticia does what all of these people do on reality TV shows whenever they have a problem, but they want the problem to die down. Y'all, we talk about it every damn season on Put a Ring on It. If y'all watch my reviews for Put a Ring on It, all these couples, they come on the show with the issue. They try to put some fear in the man, because that's the majority of the time the one who's holding out the proposal. They put the fear in his heart. And then throughout the 8-week process, at about week 4, they get tired of being strong. So then they put on this big act. They give the guy one box to check. And as soon as he checks that one box, he gets another chance. And that's because you don't want to fight no more. And that's exactly what Leticia did in the scene. So Leticia, she gets loud. You can't sit here and say me sweet nothings. It is a privilege to be with me. Leticia, are you talking to Glenn or are you talking to yourself? Because if you knew it was a privilege to be with you, you wouldn't be with the same man for 20 years who's done you wrong for 20 years with your young ass. Let's be real. That's another thing. Leticia, you're young. You can find another man. You can find another man. But no, you want to create the idea that because he has done you wrong for 20 years, that if you create a new chapter in your mind of you starting fresh, then he would also have to start fresh. And that's why Leticia keeps talking about, I'm not the same girl I used to be. She's gone. And it's like, well, Leticia, just because you say that you've changed and you're not the same woman, that doesn't mean that Glenn has changed. You claim to be a different woman, yet you're still accepting the same things that you've accepted for 20 years. So you tell me how that worked. So Leticia plays this mind game on herself. She tries to scare him straight by saying that it's a privilege to be with her. Right. Okay. And then you try to turn the page to a new chapter and tell him that you're not the same girl you used to be, but you still accepting shit that was back in chapter 1 and you're supposed to be in chapter 20 at this point. But okay. So he ends up, Jay ends on that. She said, must be something about the name Tisha that means long suffering. Facts, okay? Hey, Sakina. So, y'all, finally, once she does all that, you know, she tired of being strong. She breaks down and he hugs her. And she's like, I want to make it work, but I'm scared. I'm scared to love you. Get the fuck right now. Get the fuck right now. That's all I can say. GTF. Because the theatrics that y'all do, I don't understand. Y'all come on reality TV. Y'all have these men who really ain't shit. Based on what y'all show us. Because let's be real, I don't know Glenn in real life. So based on what y'all show us or based on what we get to see, it appears through my TV screen that y'all are dealing with a bunch of men who are not shit. But y'all end up making yourself look crazy in the end. It's not really giving. It's not really giving. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's not. And I just had to. Because I really ain't got nothing else to say on Leticia and Glenn. Nothing to say on Leticia and Glenn. I think that's it. Okay? I think Leticia's going to have to come speak for herself for me to understand. That's it. Yes, Harold. I was looking at the TV like, who are you trying to convince, Leticia? Us or yourself? Right. Right. Glenn and Leticia make me sick. They suck at acting. So, Leticia, are we still going to act like we don't know if the baby is or not? Let me know. Okay, y'all. So, like the video, and then we're going to get into our next show, which is going to be Married to Medicine. We're going to keep it moving because I got to get a snow cone after this. The snow cone place close at 8. I got to get a snow cone, okay? So yeah, y'all go ahead, do me a favor, like the video, and then we're going to get into the next show. All right, y'all. This the comment for me. So, time to get into Married to Medicine. The ladies are still in Vegas at this point. I think we've been in Vegas for 3 episodes. Y'all, it be killing me because, like, I have to watch all these shows for reviews, right? And I'm taking notes the whole time. And, you know, my husband, he likes to act like he don't like this show. He likes to act like he don't like none of the shows. And then eventually he'll be like, man, we've been in Vegas for 3 episodes. And I'm like, what? You been watching? He'd be like, which one do I like? I don't like her. Yeah, I don't like her. He'd be killing me. And I'm like, no, you're on the wrong team. Okay. So y'all, let's get into Married to Medicine. It was a fun, girls just want to have fun episode. Like, to me, this is low-key what the damn Real Housewives of Atlanta bachelorette trip should have been. This is as much as I wanted to see from them ladies down there in Atlanta. And then I also wanted to point out that I think, like, low-key, this is the oldest. I don't want to say oldest. This is the most mature cast on Bravo. And this cast trip to me was like the most lit. Hey, Bondi. This cast trip was the most lit. Iverson said that your husband's trying to be part of the panel. Well, hey, me, Bondi, and Jamie did have a conversation about doing a special episode where we get the husbands on. And the husbands talk to y'all for a little bit, okay? If that's something y'all want, comment below, okay? But okay, time to get into the order of events. So the ladies are at dinner. And Contessa ends up saying, you know what, Simone, Jackie, I just want to say thank you for inviting all of us. And I want to apologize for losing my temper. Heavenly sitting there like, okay. Like, okay. Oh yeah, y'all want to do that? I like that. That's cute. Okay, okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, Heavenly is sitting there rocking back and forth, like, okay, bitch, good for you that you apologize, right? And I don't think Heavenly is wrong, because I felt a little bit of shade when Contessa said, thank you for inviting all of us. Who the fuck were they not going to invite, Contessa? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But maybe that's just me being picky, because Contessa like irks my nerves right about now. Maybe that's just me. So at the dinner table, they get to a question game. Simone wants to ask. Simone is so damn messy. Simone with her big teeth. Simone, I couldn't get past that without talking about Simone's big teeth. Pretty white teeth. Pretty white, straight teeth. But Simone and her big ass teeth is messy as hell. Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, y'all, Simone ends up playing this game because, of course, her and her husband Cecil are working on a marriage advice book. And the question says something about the man being a breadwinner. Toya is the main one to speak up, and Toya saying something about, well, the husband, the only reason why a husband will be insecure about who's the breadwinner is because if money mattered to him. She said something like that. And Heavenly ends up saying, well, the man has to be the breadwinner. And Toya was like, what? See, y'all, this is the thing. Heavenly, I be catching her drift sometimes. And other times, Heavenly, you be putting on a little bit too much. Heavenly, you be putting on a little bit too much sometimes. Heavenly wants to be a wife of Christ so bad, which is great. She is, right? But she wants to be a model wife so bad that sometimes I'm just like, you putting on too much. Because just like Toya said in her confessional, if the man has to be the breadwinner, then daddy got to work a little bit harder. And low key, I'm like, yeah, right? Heavenly has properties, which I'm sure Damon is a part of. She has the beauty supply store. She has her dental practice. And I think Damon is just a doctor from what I know. I'm sure he could have much more. But I'm just like, Heavenly, you be doing way too much sometimes, okay? But whatever. So they try to make it seem like it's this whole Toya versus Heavenly thing, but it really wasn't that deep. So the next question is, how do you feel about your husband having a female friend? Of course, Simone had to be the one to take this question, because that's damn near what led to the end of her relationship with Cecil, which I'm confused because I thought that Cecil's friend was a lesbian. I thought Cecil's friend was a lesbian, but their relationship was too close. I don't know. I didn't see the live, DJ. But anyway, Simone says that she doesn't have a problem with female friends. She says whether it's your mama, your sister, your cousin, your friend, they all have boundaries. And as long as those boundaries are respected, then she cool with it, right? And when she said that, I'm like, yeah, I agree with her. She's right. She pointed out that the issue with her husband was that her husband is a people pleaser, and he's more concerned with people thinking he's cool than pissing his wife off. And when she said that, I'm like, see, this is accountability. This is accountability. A lot of women don't do this. A lot of women will put the blame on females around their husband, this, that, and the third. And it's like, nah, your husband got to be the one to be like, thanks, but no thanks, right? A lot of people don't want to do this. So I'm like, okay, cool, Simone. Next question is, what are the symptoms of a dysfunctional marriage? Contessa had to take that one, right? And Contessa took that question and she says, she gives the dumbest answer. I'm sorry. Contessa says, well, the symptoms of a dysfunctional marriage are not the same for everybody. So I can't say what's that for you is that for you and that for you. And she said, that's why I believe that everyone's opinion shouldn't matter in a relationship. And Simone is like, we have a chapter on that in the book. Don't listen to your family and don't listen to your friends. Contessa, there's no accountability there. I'm sorry. This whole episode, I still felt like there was no accountability there from Contessa. And the reason why there's no accountability is because you have the rest of the women co-signing Contessa's bullshit. You do. I think you definitely could have named some symptoms of a dysfunctional relationship. It was already understood that one thing is not the same from one person to the next. It was the fact that you didn't spoke too much on your damn relationship and you want to be a little bit more like Heavenly and speak less about your relationship. So now you try to give this generic ass, political ass answer. And that's exactly what you tried to do. So I'm like, okay, cool. Don't listen to everybody's opinions. Next thing is, I say this every single episode, Contessa, people's opinions didn't drive you to, or should not have, drove you to almost file for divorce from your husband. You wanted to do that because your husband had inappropriate relations. Your husband had inappropriate relations. I'm not saying physically. I don't know this man's life, but based on what you told us, he had inappropriate relations. And I don't think that other people would have had an opinion had you not shared what your husband was doing. So let's be real and let's hold some accountability for what's actually going on. So next question, because I can go off on a tangent talking about Contessa. Every episode when I review Married to Medicine, I go on a tangent talking about Contessa. So what was one of the things that you were most surprised about after you got married? Toya says that the dick wasn't gonna get no bigger. Toya didn't know that the peen wasn't gonna get any bigger after she got married. And I'm like, girl, not Contessa. Toya, every time she get that liquor in her, every time she get that Patron in her, she starts to get a little bit beside herself. And she start telling it and be talking about her husband in a way that is embarrassing. And you could tell she just got to get some things off her chest. So she wait until she get drunk to start saying the dumb stuff. And I'm like, girl, I can't. So another thing that they start talking about is masturbation. How many times a week do y'all masturbate, right? And who was it? Simone said that if you masturbate too much, then you aren't giving your man room to learn. Toya says you make him work harder. I'm with Toya. So next, the question of how many times a day. Toya says 2 times a day, whereas Quad says more than that. Girl, Quad, I'm so happy that you're able to release and give yourself this euphoria multiple times a day. But my question to you, Quad, is how do you get any work done? Because if it was that many times a day, my ass will be asleep all throughout the day. Like, boom, sleep, boom, sleep. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't be productive if it was more than twice a day. So anyway, in lieu of having dessert at the table, this time was lit. I've only seen this done one other time, and that was on Real Housewives of Atlanta whenever Candy was hosting the stripper portion. They said, a stack for you. You get a stack. You get a stack. You get a stack. All the ladies get stacks so they can go to the strip club and make it rain. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's lit. It's lit. I would have been so lit. It looked like it was fun. So they get ready to go to the strip club, and they're in the limo, and they end up talking to their husbands. What does your husband think about you going to the strip club? What does your husband think? Blah, 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 right? And we see Toya on FaceTime with Eugene, and Eugene is like, I don't care if you go to the strip club. And you hear Quad in the back say, Eugene Harris, Lil Dick Mafia. And when Quad said that, I screamed. I watched it back twice. Like, did she really just call him Lil Peen Mafia? And she did. And that's because, Toya, you running your mouth about your man's peen. But you don't stop there. You don't stop talking about how you didn't know that his peen wasn't going to get any larger. But then you sit there on the limo and you say, that if you were going to switch husbands with anybody else, you would switch with Anila because Kieran looked like he real long and strong. What? What? I was like, girl, have you lost it? And Anila, hey Ramel, hey Faye. Anila bust out laughing so hard that this lady ends up peeing on herself. But leave it to Dr. Jackie to tell us something new about the female body. And it's like, yeah, if you've had kids or you're older, that is very typical. I'm like, y'all, this trip was just so fun. It looked so funny to me. But y'all, let's circle back. Toya said she didn't know her husband Pete was going to get any bigger. Second of all, she said that if she was swapped, she would mess with Kieran because he looked like he long and strong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, DJ, this is a comment for me. DJ said she answered that way too fast. She had been thinking it for a while. That's not funny. I was about to get into this a little bit longer because typically I feel like they've asked this before. In a previous reunion, I feel like they've asked this. And the women typically pause a little bit, like they don't really know if they don't want to be disrespectful. They don't want to come off too much. But Toya was like, I want to fuck your man. What? No, I'm sorry. Just for me, I guess I'm not fun like that. I would be side-eyeing the F out of my friend if she jumped that quick and said she wanted to mess with my man, because I definitely would have been like, okay. Like next time we greet you and we say hello, I'm gonna look at how hard you hug. Because that was kind of awkward. And I wonder what Eugene has to say about this. He probably just gonna laugh at it. But then he gonna be mad, he gonna wait. That's probably why Eugene was really mad at Kieran. Maybe. And Angie, honey, that's a good point. Angie said most of us Black women don't play that. I think that's the only reason why she chose Anila's husband. I feel like a lot of women don't play that, but Anila does seem like the most free-spirited person, and I think she chose the easiest person, or like the person who she thought that she would upset the least. So I'm like, I don't know. Okay. So now, y'all, let's move on to the actual strip club. When we get to the strip club, I debated on if I wanted to talk about this because I was like, it's not that deep. But it kind of made me smirk, like, hold up. So when they in the club, the dude on the microphone, the host, is talking about how, you in Vegas, and Simone runs up to the microphone and she's like, yeah, your secret is safe with me. We're in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You see Contessa run over to Jackie and say, oh, so I could twerk on my friend like this. And I'm like, you getting real friendly, girl. Is that what your deepest desires are for Vegas? Girl, I wasn't going to jump on the bandwagon. But the way you be setting stuff up for us to talk about Contessa. So then the strip show begins. It's definitely giving Magic Mike. This guy comes out there looking like Bolo, looking long and strong, okay? And Jackie pulls her glasses up just to see what this man is looking like. If she ain't giving somebody auntie, and I ain't mad at it, Auntie Jackie, I'm not mad at it. Because Heavenly says even a blind man could have seen, how big that was. And if I'm Jackie, I'm trying to see, like, is that real? Is that like connected to him? Or is that I would have done the same thing. Bonnie said, girl, why my mama just called to ask if I talked to you because of the flooding? Oh, your mama's so sweet. Yeah, I'm good over here. It was other areas that had flooding, but yeah, I'm good over here. Thank God. Yes. But yeah, Jackie's glasses had me screaming, y'all. Prosperity said, I told you Contessa wants to okay for the other team. She do. And I think Bobby mentioned that she thought that Contessa and that doctor, when they tried to do Married to Medicine LA, I forgot her name, was giving vibes. And they was giving vibes. I'm not gonna lie, because y'all, low key, both of them was giving vibes. Because now that I remember, I watched Married to Medicine LA for the season that it was on. And I remember Britton, Dr. Britton, thank you, T. She's the one who left her husband to be long distance, right? Just like Contessa left her husband to be long distance too. And something about them was just giving very much, they had like some sort of male energy about them. So y'all hung around the same. Yeah. Okay. So lastly, y'all, at the strip club, Heavenly gets pulled onto stage and she has like all the strippers around her and they all bumping and grinding all over her. And Heavenly is throwing money and the dude is pumping. And it was just like, oh my gosh, it was a lot. And by the time that Heavenly got up, her hair was messed up. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looked like she was really getting into something. And Simone recorded all of it. Simone recorded all of it. And Simone's like, I'm going to use this for Heavenly. Maybe I'll put it on my YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, that's funny. So back home, y'all, we see all the men, they're boxing. That was funny to see just because the dude who was leading the class was like, okay, now 10 push-ups. And who was it? Dr. Jackie's husband was like, nah, dog, like I'm not doing 10 push-ups. We see Eugene and Kieran and they're paired together. And Eugene hit Kieran in the face. I'm like, Eugene, you must have heard with your wife. Nah, you didn't. Eugene must have punched Kieran in the face because he's feeling some type of way about Kieran with the mover outfit. But Eugene, just wait until you find out that your wife think that Kieran got a long and strong peen. And maybe that's why your wife really didn't trip about the Halloween costumes, because I was honestly surprised. I thought this entire time that Toya was going to be more upset than Eugene about the Halloween costume, like the movers or whatever. But now that Toya isn't, I'm like, she got a soft spot for Kieran, because she definitely ain't got no soft spot for Neela. So now, y'all, it is the last day in Vegas. We see the ladies meet for breakfast and they have their little IV set up. That's the second time I've seen it on one of these shows. After they get super drunk, you know, you got to have the IV people come because that's like the rich thing to do. When you have money, you get super drunk and then you have someone pump you with IV. So Contessa is joking with Jackie. She's like, yeah, you should be real tired, Jackie, because you and Toya had sex last night. And y'all, that's what I'm saying. I know it was a joke, right? But what Contessa says about Jackie says more about Contessa than it does about Jackie. So I'm like, okay, that's another strike. Contessa, you had lesbian sex on your mind last night. Interesting. So now, y'all, we get to this scene with Heavenly. All the women are sitting down eating breakfast. And Heavenly says, hey, Simone, can you send me the video from the club last night because I want to edit it? And Simone says, well, no, I'm thinking that maybe we take the video, we play it on my home theater screen, and we call it a night of remembrance. And for a second, y'all let me know if I was the only one or not. But when Simone said that, I was like, is she trying to be messy? Is she trying to say that she can teach Heavenly how to talk about videos? Or was she trying to say that they did the intervention wrong? Because then right after that, she came out and said, you know, we fucked up with the intervention. And she basically apologized for their part. And Heavenly accepts that. And she then directs it to Contessa and says to Contessa, I didn't have any clue that my videos had hurt you. You know I didn't know that they hurt you. You know I didn't know they hurt you. Yeah, y'all said both. Y'all on the same page as me. Yup. So Heavenly is trying to create a tear, and she's just letting Contessa know that she didn't know that it hurt her. And Contessa says, oh girl, don't cry because you're gonna make me cry. She gets up and she hugs Heavenly. And my thing is this, y'all. I'm just annoyed with Contessa. And I already watched the live. Shout out to Bonnie, who was with Heavenly on Sunday. But I watched Heavenly's review and we find out that this don't last long. Basically, this little makeup that we saw didn't make a damn difference, okay? Because they're gonna end up back in feud. But this is what I can't stand about Contessa. If Heavenly had already apologized to you via text message, if you had stopped talking to Heavenly, what is this for? Like, why did you think that Heavenly's apology with tears in front of the group was acceptable versus all of the other situations that y'all done had together? It was just weird to me. Like, yeah, right. It was given that you really just wanted to be mad. And I told y'all, I think that Contessa really wanted to prove to her husband that the things that Heavenly were saying did not come from her because they was hitting a little bit too close to home. And that's all that it was. So once you got Heavenly on there crying, you felt like that was good enough for Scott because you always wanted to be her friend, or else you wouldn't have been tripping about her not putting you in a damn fashion show. So they end up hugging it out or whatever. Heavenly starts talking about how, you know, I hurt people before they hurt me. I grew up without no bedroom windows and all this other stuff. And I have to say, I feel like Heavenly felt pressured to give this apology. This is the apology that they had been wanting for the entirety of the trip. And I feel like whenever you have a bunch of people against you, you can feel like you're wrong. I feel like we saw that with Winter from Love and Marriage DC. And I felt like because so many people in the group co-signed with Contessa, Heavenly felt like she had to apologize, or Heavenly felt like she had the initial wrongdoing, right? So I hate that Heavenly kind of folded and ended up apologizing, because this to me was not the icing on the cake for the trip. Heavenly actually in her apology, she apologized like a grown-ass woman, and she said, I don't mean I'm sorry if I hurt you, because I know I did. So I'm sorry that I hurt you. Contessa in turn gets up and hugs Heavenly, and she ends up saying, well, I'm sorry if you felt like I ambushed you. You didn't just hear what Heavenly said to you. If you learned anything, you shouldn't do the if in the apology. So I hate that Heavenly felt the need to apologize to Contessa, and Contessa still hasn't taken accountability. Number one, I don't even think this shit would be a big deal if Contessa actually took accountability in the fact that she told us her business. You told us her business. Heavenly didn't repeat anything that we didn't know. Heavenly didn't come to any conclusions that we didn't conclude on our own. So let's start there before we do anything else. So the episode pretty much ends there. But y'all, we got one more show to talk about. I'm going to play Like the Video one more time. Y'all tell me y'all's final thoughts on Married to Medicine. I'm going to read y'all's comments, and then we are going to hop on over to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So y'all go ahead and like the video. All right, y'all. Married to Medicine was good. But I'm so tired of talking about Contessa every single episode. Ramel said Contessa be dressing like Housewives first season. She need help. She do. Jenna says it was a good apology from Heavenly, but she gonna do it again. And I love it. I love her messy ass. She is gonna do it again, right? Hey Troy, you right on time. And Harold, you are exactly right. I got to make it to the snow cone place before it closed. But you know what? Real Housewives of Atlanta was not given too much. So let me go ahead and hop into this damn review so I can get my snow cone, okay? Y'all be looking out, okay? I'll be saying, you know, we friends, okay? And when I get my snow cone, I'm going to post it on Instagram. But all right, time for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know who got on my nerves more. I felt kind of split this episode again. I definitely will say Marlo got on my nerves, but I felt split. So y'all, we at the damn dinner, right? And Ralph is talking about, don't fuck with my wife. You know, I don't fuck with shit like that. And I'll say it again.
Hold on, let me just say this, girl. Let me just say this, Greg. This is what you need to do. You need to stay out of women's business.
You need to stay out of women's business, okay? I'll say it one more time. That's it. I don't think that Ross was coming off as a threat, so let's make that clear. I don't think he was. A lot of people are like, yes, if my man don't stand up for me like that, yada, yada, yada. And my thing is this. Kenya was not cursing at Sonya. Sheree was not cursing at Sonya. Nobody was standing up. Nobody was throwing drinks. Nobody was nothing was going on for Ralph to stand up and assert himself in that way in women's business. He didn't have to. He didn't even let his wife respond. It's the simple fact that maybe you don't know your wife is messy. Maybe you don't know your wife is messy, but okay. So Ralph said he felt like his wife was drowning. So they end up walking away. And he's like, you know, I don't F with that type of stuff. You know, I don't deal with that. So it's like, okay. To me, I don't think it was cute. A lot of people thought it was cute that he came to save her. But to me, I feel like, thank you so much, Ross. But to me, I feel like if you messy enough to be down and dirty and get messy shit started, let your wife speak to that messy shit. If I have a mind in the chat, do y'all mind blocking this person? I don't know if I have one in the chat. I mean, I ought to, like, without a doubt. So anyway, y'all. Candy says that she doesn't know what the big deal is about thanks for Mel. Thanks, T. She doesn't know what the big deal is about this whole iFit situation, just because she's like, you ended up having a good time on the boat anyway. And leave it to Candy, she gonna take it back around to the food, because one thing Candy don't play about is her man, her mama, her business, or her food. Okay, throughout the years, Candy is always talking about her food. And Candy says Sonya is a better host compared to Kenya, because when they was in North Carolina, Kenya went and got herself some food and left the ladies to fend for themselves. It's giving you weren't raised right. It's giving you have no home manners, okay? No home training. Because you don't invite people nowhere and then not get them no damn food. So it's funny that Candy still ain't let that shit go. So Sonya says in her confessional that she feels like Sheree has completely jumped shit. Because at this point, y'all, keep in mind, Sonya feels like she has this unspoken connection with Marlo and Sheree, which is exactly why she was trying to stunt on Kenya. Let's not forget, y'all, Sonya keeps playing dumb. You called Kenya on FaceTime talking about this is a couples trip only because you tried to stunt on Kenya in front of Marlo and Sheree. So don't start playing dumb like you don't know why all this is happening. So the fact that you see Sheree doing the same dance that you like to do, jumping between groups, now you feel like Sheree jumped shit. So dinner ends up being over. Sonya and her husband come back and they're like, you know, tomorrow is going to be a better day. You're dismissed. And Drew is carried to the bus, and that is the last that we see of her. So next, y'all, we see Sheree the next morning, and she's on FaceTime talking about she by Neverland, talking about she not going to happen, talking about she by AliExpress samples with the tag sewed into the back, talking about shit. Okay. She buy not custom pieces, but okay. She buy, I ain't seen no damn drop, okay, at all. But okay. So she's on FaceTime and she's like, my fashion preview is in 3 weeks. I don't have anything done. I don't have models. I don't have this, that, and the third. I don't have samples. So she's working on trying to get this fashion preview started. So next, y'all, we see iFit. We see iFit, the iFit situation with Sheree and Sonya. Sheree shows up whenever Sonya pretty much finishes filming. And, you know, they're talking or whatever. And, of course, they start talking about Kenya. And Sonya says she feels like Kenya started acting different as soon as she formed a bond with Marlo. Sonya, listen, I already told y'all what it is. It's not because you formed a bond with Marlo. It's the simple fact that you tried to play her in front of Marlo. She saw how you move with Drew. Now she sees how you're moving with her, and she is moving accordingly. Because one person you don't never want to play chess with is Kenya. Kenya plays games. Kenya more hair care. Kenya plays games like a damn clown. Okay. And I think that Sanya is starting to see that. I don't blame Kenya either. So Sheree says the way that Kenya is, you're gonna have to shut it down or else it's gonna go on forever. And that's to my point exactly. So Sanya assigned Marlo as the temporary host, and everybody's paying her dust as they should. And this is what I'm talking about, y'all. I was talking about the husbands watching the show. I was talking about my husband acting like he really don't care about this show, but then he be caring about the show. He jumped in on the episode on this part when everybody was paying Marlo dust, and he was like, why is everybody being so mean to her? They didn't have to do that. And this is where I'm just like, let me watch my show, because you don't know what's going on. Because Marlo deserves all of the shit that is getting handed to her right now. I don't know why she assigned Marlo to be the host. That was her favorite person, so I guess that's why. But the way you done talked about Todd, who else, y'all? I can't even think. You didn't got into it with Kenya at this point. I don't even know why you were assigned to lead the group. So next, y'all, after everybody ignores Marlo, they end up getting on the bus and they go to lunch. Everybody is there except for the Pittmans and Ross. Even Sheree ended up showing up. And as soon as she shows up, she can't wait to tell Kenya that she got an apology from Sanya. Remember, they were both mad at Sanya for the same reason. So it's pretty funny that Sheree got the apology, but Kenya didn't, even though they were mad for the same reason. So they eating food, birds start pooping, but you know who gonna save her plate? Candy. And Candy is me. Candy is me. When it comes to me doing any type of outing with my people, I'm in the club, I'm like, shit. Can we go across the street? Shit. What time y'all want to leave? I need a burger. I am eating. I am protecting my food, and Candy is me. So that was funny. So they move on from the whole food situation and to sitting around and chilling outside of like the water raft area. We see Mayetta, Marlo, and Sheree, and they're all sitting in these like beach chairs or whatever. And Marlo says, Candy, Todd, come sit over here. Come join us. Have a seat. Relax. And Todd says, oh, no, we don't sit in general admission. We going over here to the section. We going over here to the private cabana. And and anyway, y'all, I'm about to go get my smoke on. Come on now. So when Todd said we VIP, not general admission, I was like, yes, Todd. Because this is what Marlo does. Like, nothing pisses me off more than somebody who knows they piss me off, and then you try to be friendly and then put it back on me if I'm not accepting your hot and cold tendencies. So I'm like, good. So they end up rehashing the Candy situation, just Marlo, Mayetta, and Sheree. And Marlo is delusional as hell. She's talking about, I feel like I'm the only one who's taking accountability because I know that I go below the belt. And it's like, you always go below the belt, and then you always take accountability, and then you go below the belt again. And it's just like, girl, I wouldn't F with you either. So Sanya ends up arriving, and they go white water rafting, which ends up being like a damn lazy river. I ain't even gonna lie. They thought they was gonna be out there whoosh, whoosh with the helmets on and the vest and the whoosh. But no, they end up in like a lazy river, right? Y'all too funny. I can't wrap it up so I can go get my snow cone. And while they're white river rafting, Sheree and Kenya are having conversation about the dinner. Kenya says, I don't know. I just feel a little bit intimidated because like as a man, I just felt like I felt bad for myself because I didn't have a man with me. And for you to address me like that, a woman. Now, Kenya, I knew you was going to do this. Kenya, I knew you was going to pull a Giselle, right? While I don't think that Ross should have got involved in women's business, I do not think at all what he said was intimidating. I think he should have sat there and ate his fucking food, but I don't think at all his point was to intimidate you. But okay. And my thing is this, like, this is the point exactly. This is probably why you shouldn't have said nothing at all, because nobody can dictate how Kenya should have felt, which is probably why you should have sat there and ate your damn food, okay? While it looked like to Sheree, everything was fine. While it looked like to me, you wasn't trying to intimidate, Kenya can feel however the hell she want to feel. Now, on the other raft, we see Marlo and Sonya, and of course, they are talking about Kenya again. They're like, why does Kenya keep bringing up Mark as an excuse whenever she makes me upset? And they also say that Kenya's energy was effed up. Kenya was milking the Ross situation. She was. I can't. Okay, so now y'all, it is before dinner. And before the dinner, we see Monyetta talking to Candy. And I'm actually glad that Monyetta was doing a little bit of bone carrying this episode, because I have not talked about Monyetta at all in any one of my reviews. She's been a calm friend of the show, like low-key friend of the show. She kind of just been there getting some free trips. Girl, I ain't mad at you. Call me if y'all need an extra. I'll go on some free trips. But anyway, Monyetta comes to Candy and she says that she talked to Marlo and she thinks that Marlo has some new things for you to hear. Candy's like, girl, she always goes back to her emotional trauma and I don't give a damn about it. Rightfully so. So finally, y'all, we get down to the dinner. And the first thing that comes up, I don't even know how they got to this, because Sonya was telling everybody to name their favorite part of the trip. Marlo ends up saying, well, Candy, the situation with you, not Carrie 1.0. Literally, Monyetta is giving Carrie. She is. Carrie just go on trips. Carrie from Married to Medicine. But anyway, Marlo ends up saying to Candy, well, you do understand why I went so hard, right? And Candy's like, no, I don't. And Candy says, what I realized is that you said something about Ralph. I addressed your situation. She said, I love your nephews, so let's not make this about your nephews. I understand you did not like it, and that I understand. She said, so I'll apologize for saying it in front of other people. I don't even think that Candy should apologize for saying it in front of other people, because it's like, look at the pot calling the kettle black. Marlo, you want to address Ralph about this adoption thing in front of other people, but you don't want nobody talking about your situation in front of other people. Make it make sense. But okay, Candy want to be the bigger person. So Candy also said, you act like everybody's also supposed to know how you are. Everybody's just supposed to know that you go below the belt. But whenever somebody says something to you, you can't take it. And I was like, yep, say it again, Candy. And Todd says, my thing is, I just ask, the next time y'all talk about it, y'all leave me the fuck out of it. And Marla says, oh, so we're going to cuss now? We're going to cuss? Girl, shut up. Okay. Like, he's not cussing at you. And that's why Candy said, this is why, like, men can't even say anything, because you're going to try to act like this, and that. So Marlo ends up apologizing, and she says that I will never disrespect your husband again. And they end up calling it a day. So the men end up leaving. And then we get into Sonya and Kenya, which was the funniest damn part of the episode. So this act right here, like this first bullet point that I'm about to read to y'all, is the reason why Ross shouldn't have said shit. Your wife was not no damn damsel in distress. Because as soon as Ross got up to leave, Sonya talking about, what's up, Kenya? What's up, Kenya? Bitch, what? I'm sorry. I don't know if it's a Scorpio in me or what, but Kenya laughed at her silly ass for saying, what's up, Kenya? But for me, if you approach me talking about what's up, let me start taking my damn earrings off right now. What are you talking about? What's up? What do you mean? What's good? What's good, love? What you want to do? Like, that was just so dumb to me. Like, you really sat there and your husband felt the need to speak up for you in that situation the night before. But as soon as he walks away, you come to somebody on some, what's up, Kenya? And that's because all the shit that you've been talking behind Kenya's back had to match the energy that you had for her in front of Marlo. And that to me is fake as fuck. I hate when people do that. I hate when people talk so much shit behind doors that you typically really wouldn't even be on that type of energy, but you need to prove a point to Marlo. So you coming up to her on some what's up, Kenya. Kenya starts laughing and was like, why are you talking to me like that? You talking to me like you're a dude. And you know, well, every time I talk to you, you're in your phone. And Kenya's like, my phone is not even over here. Okay, well, you're not listening to me. Sonya's making up excuses, right? And Kenya, after laughing at her, oh my gosh, y'all, team twirl, okay, save me a seat. Kenya ends up saying, okay, well, I'm going to speak and you're going to listen. Are you talking or are you listening? And I was like, oh my gosh. Thank you for the super chat, Staniel. Staniel said, child, Sonya got dragged so bad she didn't know if she was coming or going, befuddled. I was screaming. And I was. He says Sonya was searching high and low for a moment. And she was. She said, are you talking or are you listening? And Sonya says, you're not going to tell me when I can speak. Don't tell me when I can speak. Okay, well, the conversation is over. I was like, Kenya, I love you. Yeah, this was amazing, right? So Kenya says, girl, your attitude has been in the toilet. And she says, my attitude? Sonya says, it's something about you, Kenya. You can just be very dismissive. And while what Sonya's saying is true, Kenya only gets that way when she don't fool with you. And the fact that you could end up on Kenya's bad side when she is healed from majority of her emotional baggage, like those of y'all who have seen Kenya from early seasons to today know damn well that if Sonya came on that show, she would have had to work a lot harder to be liked by Kenya. Okay, she would have had to work a lot harder. But the fact that you get Kenya, who is willing to take you in as a girlfriend and be nice, and you still end up being on her bad side, she's being dismissive for a reason. And really, she didn't light you up the way I wanted her to light you up, because I know Kenya could have went harder. Kenya, she got that in her for real. So anyway, Kenya ends up saying, okay, Sonya. So she allows Sonya to speak, and she says, what issue have you had with me since I hung up in your face? Sonya says, she's sitting here trying to think of an answer. She's wiping the sweat from the top of her lip because she can't think of an answer. And she says, Kenya, let me think. So I think after Kenya knew that she had lit her ass up so bad and embarrassed her, Kenya was like, let's just move forward when we say that we are going to move forward. She says, I love smart, articulate, accomplished women, and you fit in the box. And then they show the flashback of her saying that you're inarticulate. Kenya, you don't fool with her. You would have, but you don't fool with her. Sonya was at a loss. Sonya couldn't think about what she did. So it's the fact that, number one, you spoke when Kenya allowed you to speak. Number two, when Kenya said, we're going to move forward, you decided to move forward. So I'm like, nah, she just checked you on your own trip, right? That was hilarious, y'all. And then Sonya's like, I don't know what was going on with me. I should have read her in my blah, 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 Jamaican. Girl, nothing you could have done would have saved your ass, okay? Nothing you could have done would have saved your ass from that read. Nothing, okay? You could have got Claudia to come and sit there at that table with you and try to read. Nothing you would have done. You could have had all four of your medals wrapped around your neck. Nothing you could have done would have saved you from the read that you got. So Kenya's like, did you give me a birthday cake? After reading her for filth. And we find out that Sonya did not get Kenya a birthday cake. But the episode doesn't end there, right? We found out that Marlo and Candy end up making up. And of course, it was over some damn food. Marlo got some KFC in the airport. Candy wanted some so bad. that she was like, girl, let's just move on. Can I have a piece of chicken? I guess Candy wanted that piece of chicken so bad. She was just like, girl, I don't give a damn. And I think that Candy can do that because she really don't give a damn about Marlo at all. Okay. But y'all, that was the end of the episode. And I'm so glad they're gonna be back in Atlanta because we've been in Jamaica for at least 3 episodes, y'all. Yeah, Sonya does turn her Jamaican accent on and off. She does. It's for show sometimes. It's for good vibes. But yeah, y'all. That's all I got for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I am working on watching a documentary so we can come on and talk about Untold on Netflix. So if y'all haven't had a chance, head over to my community page so you could see the name of the documentary and go ahead and watch it on Netflix before we come on here. Outside of that, y'all, I will see y'all on Thursday so we can get into Married at First Sight, okay? Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm about to go get my snow cone, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.